we start this video, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe because I make new videos every Wednesday and Friday, and I want to see you there. Hit that notification bell and share this with all your friends because it's going to be lit.
You're watching Nerdosity.
What's up, Nerdosity? This is your host, Tiger Eye Cosplay, coming at you. And today, we're coming back at you with a top 10 list. That's right, this is a top list of Nerdosity video. Now, you know, when you're watching a movie and an animal comes across the screen, you're all like, yes, we're gonna have a nice animal companion in this thing, and it's gonna be amazing, it's gonna be awesome. Usually it's a dog, but, you know, sometimes it's other animals too. And you're watching the movie, and then all of a sudden, they die. And you cry your eyeballs out. Because why the heck did some writer decide to put an animal in here and then kill it off right when we started to love them the most? It actually sucks. And so this video is going to be the top 10 times when the dog/animal dies and we cried. Now, I wanted to do the top 10 dogs, but I haven't watched enough dog movies that some of them die, which, you know, is a good thing, but also I can't say the top 10 moments when a dog dies and we cried, so I'm gonna say dog/animal. So this is just my opinion. These are shows that I've seen. Beware the spoilers for the following. Number 10 is Skyrim. So, you know, in Skyrim, you can do so much stuff. You can have a horse, you can have a house, you can have children, you can have a spouse. You can do so much in Skyrim. It's the biggest open world game that I've ever played, and probably the most fun that I've ever had in a game. I've played it at least 3 times all the way through, and that's saying something because that game is long. But you only get a chance to have 2 dogs in this whole entire game. And the fact is, like, you can get multiple horses, many horses. You can get new spouses if need be, but they don't really die. And you can get children if need be. Like, there's a bunch of children, but there's only a chance for 2 dogs, and not even like a huge chance. You can only if you find a dog and bring it home, they can become yours, or if your children find a dog, they can become yours. But you only get 2 chances with this. So if you kill off one, and then you kill off another on accident, that's it. That's your whole game. You can't get any more dogs unless you restart the whole entire thing. And when I lost this dog that I've had for a companion, he's helped me through so much. Lose him, can't ever get a dog back. Man, I almost lost it. It sucked so much. But you know, you can always restart and get a new dog and try to save him from this. So, and that's why it's at number 10. Next up is number 9, and that's Marley and Me. Now, I watched this movie a while back, but I was old enough, so it didn't really bother me. That's why it's at number 9. And the fact that this dog was so bad throughout the whole entire movie, like, it didn't have many redeeming qualities, but it was still a dog, so I still felt for it. But when the dog stayed for so long through this family's whole life, then had to be put down at the end, it really sucked to see that happen because, yeah, I know that the dog was pretty awful, but it was still a companion. It was still his dog. It was still their dog. And, yeah, that's sad. So I did shed a little tear or two for Marley, but, yeah.
He won't feel this. He'll just slip away. You ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Next up is 8, National Lampoon's Vacation. Now, in this one, I watched when I was a child because my dad and my mom loves this series. And let me tell you, National Lampoon anything is a wild ride. Like, it is a trip to watch these things. Like, the humor's crude. Sometimes it's just oof, ooh. It's just like that. But the thing that got me when I happened to be watching this specific National Lampoon video or movie, National Lampoon's Vacation, they had a dog named Dinky, I believe. And this dog was, you know, it was a dog, and we liked the dog, and it was fine. And they ended up having to stop at a rest area on their way to this trip that they were going on. and tie the dog up to the car so it wouldn't run away, obviously, like you do. But since they were so much in a rush, they get back into the car and start driving down the road. They get a good while through, like they go a good long while before they start hearing thumping in the back of their car. They don't know what the hell it is, so they get out and realize that they never untied the dog. And this scarred me because these people left this dog tied up to the back of the car. It ran for a good long while to keep up with the car and not die before it finally gave up. It was too tired, and they drug him for who knows how long before they started hearing the noises and decided to check up on it. I mean, that's intense. Now, you didn't really have a great connection with this dog, which is why it's low on the list, but man, that death was gruesome, and it was awful. I don't even know why they put it in there. I mean, they should be locked up, because that's animal cruelty right there. Number 7 is Harry Potter. Now, the Harry Potter series was really great, but I watched it like a year ago for the first time. Don't at me. I'm sorry. I live in a rock. I live under a rock. But Science on Cosplay had me watch them, and they were an amazing series, and I want to rewatch them again. So if you're watching Science on Cosplay, freaking make a time, because I want to do that ish. But one of the deaths in Harry Potter, because there's a lot of them, was of the owl Hedwig. And we had this owl through the whole entire series until she just dies because she's trying to save Harry Potter. And it's just like, she just sacrificed herself for you and she has to die? What the hell? That's awful. I was just like, what the hell? Why did this have to happen? But the thing is, it didn't hit so close to home as it should have, because I was just trying to get over Dobby dying. And that's why I said number 7, because for one, we don't see a lot of Hedwig throughout this entire series. It probably would be higher on the list if I had read the books first, which I'm still trying to get through the books. But it just didn't hit as close to home because I was still so dumbstruck and just upset about Dobby dying. Because, Master, Dobby got a sock. Now Dobby's dead. And it sucked. It sucked a lot. But Hedwig was such a beautiful creature and so fearless and good to Harry Potter that it hurt so much to see her die, because it was just like, we didn't even get to see a lot of you, and then you have to go and die like that? That sucks, man. Dang. Now we go to number 6, which is The Never-Ending Story. Now, I watched this when I was younger as well, because my mom liked it and she had me watch it, and I enjoyed it very thoroughly. But one of the scenes in this was when the little boy on his horse Artax, I can't remember the boy's name for the life of me. I had it and then it just poofed out, like you know how it does. Where he was trying to get through this swamp of sadness, where if you let the sadness get to you, you would fall the swamp and die. Now, he was very strong and he was able to get through this swamp, but as he was riding on his horse started to get depressed and sad, so he just continually saw this horse start falling through this black, thick mud, just consuming him completely. And it tore my heart out. I was watching this horse die slowly, being sucked into the mud because of its sadness, and we had to watch the boy get all depressed and sad and cry over this horse Artax that had just gotten him to this point, and he was so good to him, and now he's having to die because he just can't see the hope because he's an animal. I mean, it was so awful, and I cried. The boy in the story cried. The boy out of the story cried. We all cried. Everybody cried. And we can't get this horse back because the horse was just so full of sadness that he was just consumed completely. This is not like Double Snare. It will not let you go if you just relax. This horse died, and it was awful. Now we go to number 5, which is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Now the reason why Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is at 5 and not that it's at 1 is because it's only an episode long that we saw this and we didn't get like a full connection with this girl. But the thing is, in this episode, Ed and Al are trying to figure out some new alchemy techniques to see if they can't reverse the curse that they had brought upon them when they meet this dude named Tucker, Shao Tucker, and his little kid, Nina Tucker, and their dog. So the dog was super sweet, the dog was nice, the girl loved Al, and Shao Tucker was trying to figure out new ways to make chimeras. He was the only one who could actually make chimeras that could talk and have cognitive abilities, which was crazy. So that's why Al and Ed decided to like talk to him and figure it out. When they left, Shao had to figure out a way to keep his license as a member of like the big huge military thing, so he could keep his status. So he had to figure out a new way to make a chimera that could talk, so that he could keep his status. So when Ed and Al came back the next day, they were greeted by a new chimera that he had made, and one that looked suspiciously like a dog. And it gets worse when they go up to this dog, and it shakily looks up at him and just like, Edward, big brother. And that's when Edward knew that Shao had taken his dog and his own child, fused them together to make a chimera that could talk. And then we realized that he had done the same thing with his wife. So, the dog and the girl are fused now. Absolutely awful. He's the scum of the earth. Like the worst person ever, because he fused an animal and his child together. It infuriated me to see this man like that. And then Edward and Al just can't do anything. Shao gets taken away, and Scar comes up, kills the girl and the dog because freaking nature, and there's no point in living like that. And they die. But the reason why it's at number 5 as well is because I think it hurt more to see the little girl die and the little girl be fused. And plus it was just more infuriating. Like infuriating sadness. Like it was just awful to see these two lively characters die because of some arrogant little butthole wanted to keep his status. All he cared about was himself. It still infuriates me that he even did this. But there are still more awful deaths coming your way.
That person, Edward. That person, Edward. That person, Edward. Big brother Ed.
Mr. Tucker, when did you first get your state certification?
Shall be punished. Daddy's hurting. Daddy hurts. No, Daddy.
You poor creature. Once you've been given this form, there is no way of separating you again. At least, your passing will be in peace.
Before we continue, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. If you think you know who's going to be number 1, just put that little comment right there, right now. And whoever, I'll make sure to shout you out on my Instagram. Make sure you share this with your friends so that they can see it too. So, we go to number 4, which is Turner and Hooch. Now, this was an old movie, I think 1989, with Tom Hanks, and he's just a great actor. But we see this dog, this huge pit bull, or something to that effect, that is only fed beer and, like, steak or something. So he's a drunk dog most of the time. His owner died, so Turner, Tom Hanks' character, had to take care of him, or else he would be put down. So he and the dog don't really get along at first, don't really get along through most of the thing, until finally he starts to grow on him. They both start to grow on each other, and they go on this mission because Turner's a cop. So they finally go on this mission for the end of the show, where he has a gunfight with some dude, and Hooch ends up getting shot. So Turner is holding on to this dog with the dog's last dying breaths, and the dog dies. Hooch died, and that was awful. I cried my eyes out because I was just like, what the heck? What the heck? We had this whole entire movie where this dog helped Turner, and Hooch was so good to Turner, and like they were finally getting along, and they were finally vibing on each other, and then he has to go and die because of some awful villain shoots the dog? That's awful. And then later on we realized that this dog had relations with another dog. Hooch had relations with another dog, and they had puppies. They'll never grow up with their parent, ever. And that just made me so sad. It was awful, and it hurt me to the core. It hurt so bad. It was so awful.
It's okay. It's all right. Good boy. That's a good boy. Good. Just gotta get you home. You just gotta get yourself some rest. Hold on, Chief. Hold on, boy. Come on, boy. Come on now. Good. Okay, Chief. Just get you home. That's all I have to do. Just get you home. Just get you some rest. You'll be okay. You'll be okay, Chief.
Now we go to number 3, which is All Dogs Go to Heaven. Now, this was a wild ride as well, but I loved this show. It was so beautiful. The animation was beautifully done. It was a wonderful plot, but in the first 10 minutes of the show, the main character dog dies. Charlie dies, and he realizes that he's gonna have to go to hell unless he can do something good with his life like he hasn't done before. So he goes back to Earth, saves this little girl with his dog friend, tries to save this little girl, and ends up dying again, but this time going to heaven. So it was, the whole time that he died, each and every single time that he died, was just awful, and seeing all these people, all these dog demons drag him to hell, whatnot, when he was first going through it, that was just awful and traumatizing as a child. And I just cried a lot through this movie because it was so sweet. And it was just so heart-wrenching because the dude died twice or however times, and then they made a TV show where he was just, dead the whole entire time. He was just like a guardian angel or whatever. But it was still sad. I can still remember it pretty vividly. It was awful. It was so sad. The whole story revolved around this dog dying. And that's saying. He just held him close and then broke his neck. And that was a sickening crunch. Made me cry because the dog did not deserve that. Did not deserve that. And it was so sad seeing Will Smith just cry, a grown man cry, because this dog, the only thing he had left, dies. It still gets me. It was so sad. I hated it. It was awful. It was a good movie, but that part was awful. All right? The dog did not deserve to die. Now, the moment you have all been waiting for, number 1, is Charlotte's Web. Now, I watched this when I was a little kid. It was such a good movie. I loved it so much. It was so heartwarming to see this little runt pig become this huge sensation because of a caring and beautiful spider named Charlotte that said to Wilbur that he was worth it. He was a good boy, he was perfect, and he could do anything he set his mind to, and that pig did it. The pig did it. But at the end, because spiders don't live very long, and she was pregnant, and she laid her babies, said the last farewell to Wilbur, told him that he had to take care of her kids, that this was the last thing left that she could do for him, and she dies. It was so painful to see this. I cried my eyes out as a child with this. I'd probably still cry now because this spider stuck by this pig when no one else did, and like brought him up from the ashes, brought him back from dying several times because he was not good enough to the people. And nobody knew it was her. Only Wilbur. And the last parting thing that she gives to Wilbur are her children, are her legacy before she had to go and die. It was so painful to watch that, but it was so heartwarming. This whole entire movie was so heartwarming and so beautiful that you just sat there and cried because you did not know what was going on, but you knew it was necessary, and you knew it was the best thing that could have happened for this movie, that just tied everything together at the end. And it was just, oh, you had to take a second. You definitely had to take a second, step back, and just detox. It was an intense ending, and it was so good.
Out of life, eternal.
Charlotte? Charlotte? Charlotte!
And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching this top 10 video. I've had a lot of cry this video, and I bet you all had to while thinking about all these things that just happened and everything. If you know of any other animals that died so tragically and that should have deserved a spot on this list, make sure you comment below. Comment which part of the video that you liked so much, and make sure you like this video, give it a big thumbs up so that I can do more for you guys. Hit that subscribe button like your life depends on it, so you can save those dogs from dying again. And make sure you share this with all your friends so that everybody can see it, because I make new videos every Wednesday and Friday, and it's gonna start being at 2 p.m. each time. So make sure you're there, make sure you're watching that ish. And thank you guys so much for watching. You've been watching Nerdosity, and I will see you next time.